welcome to episode number 1 of What If Africa Started Civilization Over. I've been planning this series for about 7 months now, but I've never actually been able to do it. Also, truthfully, this series started 2 years ago, but it was sort of an independent thing. I just did it myself. It was when I was a beginner. I'm basically going to bring some of the original things that happened in that series. We don't have any time to waste, so let's get straight into it. This is obviously Africa, and there are no other countries anymore, which is very frightening. It all sort of happened in a flash, which if you didn't watch the 1 minute 30 something trailer, you should go do that. Basically, Africa is like in shambles right now because the way this thing works is all the infrastructure of Africa has also been wiped, the same as the rest of the world. Just the only thing that's different with Africa is the fact that Africa's people remained alive. However, the amount of people that are remaining alive is dwindling pretty fast. There's a lot of countries that are kind of falling into anarchy because of all of this, because this is a catastrophic event. They don't even understand what's happening. People are obviously freaking out. We're gonna see some countries are actually able to hold themselves together. For the most part, it's just the fact that their leaders are really smart. They're actual leaders, or their councils are working together and they're gathering people up and they're starting little villages and they're keeping everything secure. Because for the most part, there's not a lot of stability anywhere except for these few countries that I'll name off right now. We're going to see Egypt, which should be pretty obvious. We're going to see South Africa also be one of these, strong countries. This one's kind of interesting to me, but Nigeria is also going to be number 3 in this list. Algeria is number 4, and Angola is 5. And I'll explain these in a bit once I tell you the countries that cannot handle all of the anarchy and all of the freakouts. One of the more surprising countries to fall into horrible anarchy is Morocco. Yeah, they're a bit of a geographically challenged place, I guess. Also, the people in Morocco are just not handling this well. The DRC is going to struggle really bad, horribly. I don't think this one's too surprising, but Somalia, they're on the brink of extinction. And we're also going to see Mozambique is going to struggle pretty bad as well. These are all really either strong, people can go there to actually be supported, or really, really down in the dirt countries. I'm going to, for simplicity sake, I'm going to color all of the anarchist states. Morocco, of course, and then Somalia, like I said, and the DRC and Tanzania. This gray state means, first of all, most of these countries, their leaders have just been taken out by their civilians because of all the unrest. And, so Morocco basically got their leader taken out because of all of the unrest, and just because of the geographical situation of Morocco, the people had no hope at all. For Somalia, it was just because of already unrest, Somaliland and the other sections were starting to have some problems. They just didn't feel like the Somalian government was handling this wipe very well. What is this? Now, for the DRC and, Mozambique, they have a slightly different story. Their leaders were just taken out from the wipe. There was some sort of circumstance where, they just weren't able to survive. Maybe something natural was redeveloping and they were caught in the crossfire, I guess. It's not actually completely disclosed to everyone because it's a little bit hard to communicate with each other now that they're basically back at the Stone Age. Mozambique will most likely be the better of all of these anarchist states because they are going to join an alliance thing, I think, it turns out that I was mistaken. Mozambique is not going to be part of this alliance. However, this alliance is definitely going to try their best to aid Mozambique because they're going to be right next to them. But this is basically just going to be a South African alliance. So obviously founded by mainly South Africa. And all of these alliances that I'm going to make in this episode are basically previously existing alliances and repurposing them. Because for the most part, an economic alliance doesn't really have a use at this point because like economy is low for everyone. So yeah, we're going to see Botswana. Yes, Botswana is going to join in the alliance. We're also going to see Namibia. I think that's how you pronounce it. Namibia. Namibia. We're also going to see Eswatini and Lesotho join this alliance because they are literally encapsulated by South Africa. There might have been a little bit of forcing in this, or just, there's probably not that many people left in these countries as well. So they might unite with South Africa soon. There's one last member, and it's my favorite member of this whole alliance. The last member is none other than Madagascar, of course. Couldn't do a South African alliance without Madagascar. They're genuinely the goats. Ask the penguins. Also going to see a circle alliance. This is basically just going to be the Western African alliance, and then there's also going to be the Southern African alliance. This was the WAA because it's Western African Alliance, so WAA. And I thought it would be cool if you named it WAA. And then this is called SAA or SAA, which I think I might call it SAA too, because that's also a cool name. Anyways, continuing with our alliance making, we're gonna see the WAA at Benin and Togo, of course. Probably, arguably the most important in this alliance. We're also going to see the Ivory Coast or the Ivor, whatever it is. I think, and then Guinea-Bissau. Sometimes Paytonet is the worst thing ever, man. Let's not forget about Guinea-Bissau. Then we're also going to see, I know this is Niger, Mali. Last but not least, we're going to see Senegal. Okay, fixed it. But yes, here is the WAA. This country, this yellow country is actually doing surprisingly well, almost suspiciously well. Like they're basically somehow at the same level as this entire alliance combined. So might want to keep an eye on those guys. But Nigeria and Cameroon, they're doing fine. I didn't include this in my plans, but I'm actually going to have Cameroon just kind of absorb Equatorial Guinea because Equatorial Guinea just doesn't exist anymore. Like all of the people here were kind of really dependent on all the stuff they had, and they kind of just got wiped out because we have to also realize that all the farms, they're gone. So a lot of these countries' food supplies are also gone. We also have to take into account that all of the imported stuff, like all of the imported food and whatnot, is not here anymore. So a lot of these countries receive aid from the rest of the world. I'm pretty sure, especially Europe. They don't have that anymore because the rest of the world doesn't exist. Africa's got to do with what they got. We're also going to see some unifications, which this should be pretty clear. But, Algeria and Tunisia, they're really close, very friendly, and Tunisia is not doing the best, so they're just going to unite under one, and they're going to call themselves Algeria. Now, what we're going to see in these anarchist states is some outside forces, such as Algeria, and, oh boy, I forgot the name of this country. And there's going to be some dispute on this Western Sahara lands, because technically this should also be gray as well, but also it's its own individual country. That's why I colored it a darker red of Morocco. These guys are actually just going to, they recognize Morocco as owning all of this, and this also being a complete dead zone, even though it's not really. Whether or not they actually believe this in real life doesn't matter, because they are just using it to their advantage so that they can take this for themselves. Algeria, of course, is going to be doing practically the same thing, except it's with mainland Morocco, because Algeria and Morocco freaking hate each other. However, some Algerians that are going out and trying to basically re-explore this area, because it's basically unexplored to the rest of everyone else, they're gonna have some explorers that don't come back, and this is where they kind of launch a full-scale investigation, I guess. We're gonna see some new hideous-looking countries that have appeared. They're not even really countries, to be honest. I need to get rid of the capital, and yes, I do have major cities and capitals, which is pretty nice. Yeah, Morocco has kind of split into 3 parts, and also take this with a grain of salt, because there's a bunch of random like groups of people out in this gray field area, and then there's also even more inside of these. So, but like the main dominant section is like a ginormous group of multiple tribes that have come together to form a new Morocco. This is basically that thing where it's like these people are trying to reform the Morocco that was here. These people are trying to claim the West Sahara, I guess, like claim a Saharan region. And these guys are just the people that originally like fought back. I guess they've outlined with those things where it's like they're just Gibraltar and the capital city as well, the previous capital city. Now, of course, when these guys are like going into this gray area, they are technically invading. They're like killing off all of the tribal peoples in this region. But they discovered these guys, they discovered these guys as well, and they also discover the straight dudes, the Gibraltar people. So why did it undo this again? It did that with the Tunisia, and then now it's doing it again. They're basically just gonna fill this whole thing out over a span of time. Yeah, now Morocco is just like a bunch of undiscovered land. Same is gonna happen with the Western Sahara. And now it's time for some invasions, I guess. It's time for Algeria to expand into this area and get these guys out of here, because they don't want any Morocco. Actually, scratch that. Algeria does not care about these guys down here, because they're not really a threat. They're only really trying to take this section down here. Also, yes, I do have a province layer on this. Also, I need to turn off a lot of stuff. I needed to turn off the alliances because it's not relevant right now. But yikes. What are these, dude? What is happening? Okay, technically speaking, these countries do not own this land yet. Except for, again, whatever this country is called, I should probably look at it. But they're gonna claim sort of this section, these bottom sections of the Western Sahara down here. That's all they were really interested in. And then we're also gonna see this country. Salmon-colored country is going to just take basically the rest and take this little section, and they're basically free to do whatever. Algeria does not care as long as they don't intervene, and they're perfectly fine with that. Morocco, like mainland normal Morocco, is not that much. They're going to take they're going to take one singular province more, and then these guys are going to take, I think, 2 more provinces, maybe 3. They're going to take 1.5 more provinces, so they've gained the most land. They've like tripled in size. And then, of course, Algeria is going to take the rest for themselves. These borders they're something. They're not very pretty. If I'm being completely honest, these guys are a bit more powerful than these guys, even though they're bigger. These guys, I don't know. They're struggling, and also, if we look at the mountains, there's a bit of a reason why. There's also a reason why Algeria, I'm not sure why they didn't just try and invade these guys instead, because that would be way easier. But Algeria it's not going to be easy at all for them to get to these guys. So while these guys may be weaker, they are protected, but also they can't do anything. So it's a bit of a mixed bag here. However, these guys, they can go through here because they've already figured out, you know, the pathways and whatnot. And also they're going to invade through this little peninsula shape thing. I don't know. They're going to invade through the spots that are like just not quite really defended by them because most of their Gibraltar stuff is here. For simplicity's sake, and because this is like the same color as the invasion color for red, I'm going to revert these guys back to being the dark red that they were before. And just know that this invasion color is not this. It's them. All right. These guys are basically just going to completely evade the mountains. They don't really care. They're going to try their best to push through, and they're only really just going to do this. There's not much they can do, but they did something at least. And what is a bit more manageable for them, and I mean, I say that, but it's not too much more manageable. We're going to see them also invade into the Gibraltar country, which they're having more success in. And they're definitely better at the coastline to do that. And I said that these guys are weaker and they're doing better, but you'll see. Algeria is finally able to like break through the mountain. They're finally able to pass through and find a good path, and they're going straight for like the main sections. Technically, it's like really close by here. And these guys are about to invade into it, but that will change right now. For some reason, these guys were like building up and charging up their energy, but they just completely wipe out all of this. They're also able to wipe out some of these lower areas and push through Algeria's stuff. But their main focus, which this really shouldn't be their main focus, but their main focus is just to, you know, go straight through the heart of normal Morocco. Obviously, they've taken all of the coastline as fast as they possibly can. Of course, this is taking a lot longer than you think because I have no idea how long it's been, honestly. People have knowledge of war, though, and because everyone has knowledge of stuff, they probably eventually figured out how to make, like, genuine weapons. Just know it's just, like, sticks, stones, spears, and wooden shields that we're dealing with. Now, all of Morocco's invasion is going to be pulled back because, you know, they're getting clapped. But also, Algeria's still got stuff to do, so they're going to join in, and they're going to split these guys in half, because, yeah. And then these guys are just going to claim the rest. I mean, they invade into some of it, but majority, they just kind of claim it. Now, it's reduced to 2. This is a lot more pretty, in my opinion. And these guys are able to, you know, really push back. They're actually pushing into Algerian invasion claims as well. And Algeria's just gonna say, you know what, I'm just gonna let you go because you're weak and stupid, and I already got a whole lot of land out of this, so it doesn't matter anyways. In a peace treaty, which is a bit more complicated than I would wish, we're basically gonna see Neo-Morocco. There's only so much that you can claim when you're talking to a country like Algeria. Both of these countries are really stuck on this province because Algeria really wants it, and obviously these guys really want it, and they have a somewhat half and half thing. So they're gonna do what the Europeans did, and they're just gonna kind of, you know, just like draw whatever they want. Had a chance to make the borders super good, but they decided not to take that chance. So in a peace treaty, it basically just looks like this. There you go. There's the first war of this video. That's actually going to be it for today's video. Should potentially be a shorter video. I don't really have a lot of time because I want to make sure this is a good quality edit of a video. So I probably need to get that sorted out, my schedule between editing and recording. Because normally I record, edit right after, and then make the thumbnail and post it, which is why it comes out so late in the day. I hope you guys have a good day. Go ahead, drink some water, you know, stay hydrated, eat some food. If you enjoyed this video, please consider, you know, supporting me in any way that you possibly can, like liking, you know, subscribe to me if you want to see more of this awesome series. I love this idea so much. It's so awesome. All right, that'll be it. Goodbye. See ya.